So today, for those who do not know, a new patch came out today. What's up, Core? And we're gonna go over that, and I'll give you my opinions, and then, like I said, then I'll update you on something else. So this has some good stuff for casuals, and then some bad things for some good slash bad, I'd say. Okay, let's just go into it. So we don't care about the summer vacation, or at least I don't. I love how it says map pool change here, but there's no map pool change. It's just if you like the sea monsters and stuff on the marshland and Boulder Bay, those are now off. They're out of here. And now this is the one that most of you are probably going to care about. This one right here. Pretty much your highest rank you get in the season is now the rewards you get. So if you get to diamond and you go back to platinum, you're still going to get the diamond rewards at the end of the season. Is the TLDR version of this. So if you like your rewards and you're scared after you get a rank, you no longer have to. You can keep playing, and then and even if you drop a rank and you get there at the end of the season, you're still going to get your highest ranks rewards. So good for you guys who care about that stuff. I'll be honest. I've never been. I don't care about the rewards. Yes, I know I'm Conqueror 3, but even if I wasn't, I've never cared for that stuff. But I know there's people who do, so that's why I mention it for those who don't know. Now this is a controversial change, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So Q dodging is they've updated it to better detect when a player purposefully disconnects from their match. The system should now apply Q dodging cooldown punishments more instantly than previous configurations. Purposefully disconnecting from a ranked team or ranked 1v1 lobby or loading screen, as well as any time during ranked 1v1 matches, will now count as a loss for the disconnecting player in addition to the cooldown punishment. Now, I think when it says as well as any time during ranked 1v1 matches, I'm guessing if someone tries to disconnect or something here. Not really sure why they added this otherwise. That's my guess. Maybe they fixed the whole problem where some players would abuse a bug or a glitch where they could crash the game and then both players, or then they'd get the win sometimes. Not sure. So desync may not be a thing anymore is what I understand from this, but I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. That's just my assumption from reading this. Otherwise, I have no idea why this sentence is here if that's not the case. And it will now count as a loss for the disconnecting player in addition to the cooldown punishment. So this version just says should reduce the frequency of Q dodging. They're going to monitor this closely and further tighten Q dodging punishments to be more in line with other age titles. And then they're aware that Q dodging is more frequent at the high and low extremes of ELO levels and are continuing our work to address the matchmaking process for these extremes. Hopefully, I mean, they do need to improve the matchmaking service, that's for sure. Okay, so this is a good and a bad thing, and I'll tell you why I think it's both. The good thing is this is very good for if you play team games. You should no longer face Q dodgers, or if you do, you know that they're getting a loss. It's same with 1v1s. If you don't have to worry about Q dodgers in 1v1s anymore. Again, I think those are great. I think that is great. The downside to this is for players like me who never dodge because of a player, or at least I never have. I dodge maps that I don't want to play. So for me, it kind of sucks, but in general, I think it's a good change. I think the real fix to this, by the way, if you want to know what the real fix to Q dodging was, is to not show your opponent till the game started. That would have fixed this problem without needing to do this. The only downside is now, if there was more vetoes for maps, I wouldn't mind, but since there's not, it kind of sucks because now you're forced to play at least one or two shitty maps, which is unfortunate. So that's me. What I'll probably end up doing if I get a map like Hideout or something is I'll probably just dodge anyway or leave the game at the beginning and just accept the loss. Or maybe I'll just do something crazy in the game. I don't know, but that's my only downside to this. What's wrong with Hideout? I don't like maps that promote boomy games. But then again, okay. That's kind of my opinion on it. Like I said, I think overall it's a good change because whenever I play team games, sometimes I have to wait up to 20 minutes to get a team game because of the Dodgers. So that's kind of nice. I really think the real solution to this was don't see your opponent's name until the game starts. Well, that's what I would do, Faye. I just leave the moment the game started if I do that. So either way, what'll end up happening is I'll do a cheese or I'll just leave the game is probably what'll happen on those maps I don't like. Ranked cheating. In our update kicking off, we mentioned our continued investigation of cheating on the ranked ladder, especially in team games. Thanks in part to reports sent in from players, we have taken some key steps to reduce cheating in ranked. Okay, actually, I didn't read this one. Oh, never mind. It's just how to report a player. Okay, so some cheaters should have been banned. Okay, so those are the two things that are the three things that people might be interested in. So now we'll go to the actual changes. Don't care about these. So the balance changes. They fixed a couple crashing issues and hitching issues. Hopefully that fixes it for you guys. I haven't had any issues, so for me I was lucky. But they did do some crashing fixes that hopefully fixed it for everyone else. And I really hope they don't add mountain clearing. That's a bad map too. You wonder if the one map hacker that was around for months got banned? Unlikely. I mean, maybe. Okay, so now balance and gameplay changes. So now for the fun stuff. Monks will no longer stutter when attack move healing. I actually didn't know they did that. Patrolling monks will no longer heal while patrolling. I don't think anyone ever did this, but maybe I didn't know that was a thing. I do like how this is an unintentional change that they aim to fix in a future update. And then here's the big stuff. Okay, and this has been controversial on a couple streams, and I'll definitely give my opinion on this. Okay, so first we'll go over keeps. All civilization keep stones are increased from 800 to 900 stone. The bombard emplacement range is reduced from 10 to 9.5. Boiling oil range was reduced from 2 to 1.5. And then the boiling oil damage area was changed from 2.5 by 1.5 to 1. So what this means in a couple of things is this means that bombards themselves now outrange keeps. For those who don't know, right now, if you put a bombard tower on a keep, it had the same range as a bombard. I think it was the same range. Either way, it would hit the bombard with the cannon. Now that is no longer the case. So bombards can now attack keeps without the keep being able to attack it back. This is good. This is a very good change because it was kind of stupid that bombards couldn't attack a keep without taking a cannon shot to the face. Because you had to actively repair the bombard, otherwise the bombard would die if you only had one. Now, the boiling oil change, I actually did watch Beastie test this out, and boiling oil is probably trash now, which I think is good for the game. But again, that's going to be an opinion we'll go over in just a moment. So boiling oil in general is just, I actually think this upgrade, unless they decide to buff it again or something, I don't think you're going to see pro players going boiling oil anymore. I think it's just not a very good upgrade after seeing the testing of it, which again I think is good because right now one of the biggest problems with keeps is diving under a keep. How's it trash? So the attack radius is very small now. So right now, if I attack a keep with all, well, okay, pre-patch, if I attack a keep with all my units, all my melee units, they all get hit pretty much and lose like half their health or whatever it is. I can't remember how much damage it did. A lot of damage. Now it only affects like a small group of units. And if you spread your units out around the keep, so not just in one direction, it only hits one section of the units. So if you spread your units out around the keep, boiling oil is literally going to hit like 3 units at a time, which isn't going to stop it from dying. Whereas pre-patch, like I said, it would hit almost everything. I don't think it quite hit everything, but it literally would hit everything. So boiling oil is now kind of trash, I think, which I think is good. Yes, Choi, that's correct. I think it's good because, and I'll go into that in a moment. And their note is, overall keep and bombard emplacements are too effective when comparing their cost to the cost of their counters. Making keeps more expensive means they were a bit slower to hit the field, and thus their positioning will be more important. Boiling oil changes are aimed at overall reducing the area a bit and making the damage area more consistent. In a future update, we're looking at a new visual effect to communicate the area more precisely. So that's the reasoning. And now I am of the, and if you watched my stream, pretty much anytime over the past few months, even back as far back as season 3, I've always stated I think keeps are too strong. Now, I never complained about them too much until probably the last couple months because nobody really made keeps until I'd say the past couple months it's gotten really bad. Everyone makes like 4 to 5 keeps, and that's why the complaining ramped up a ton. Because people used to not really complain about keeps because no one made them, but now everybody makes them. And that's why you saw complaints at the high level, the pro level, except for a couple people that were starting to complain about keeps. I know, I guess I've said it before. I know a lot of people that were complaining about keeps that don't stream. I'm not going to name anyone. This was not just a couple persons' opinions. This was, I would say overall at the high level, this was a majority opinion that keeps are too strong. Whether you agree with that or not, that is what it is. But that has been a pretty general consensus at the high level. And the reason why is because keeps, and I think even with these nerfs, I still think keeps are strong. They're still going to slow the game down a lot, I think. But the big reason is that keeps do slow down the game. Once keeps kind of get out on the field, it's very hard to push. But now, if you do have a good, significant military advantage, I do think you'll be able to push now, because boiling oil isn't as good. Before, if you were to dive a keep with units, like I said, it did a ton of damage. Now, if you have a bunch of melee units, you can take out the keep without taking much losses if your opponent doesn't have an army. Whereas, like I said, right now that's not the case, or pre-patch that wasn't the case. That's why I think it's an overall good change. I still think Siege might need a little. I still think Siege may need a little buff. Like Trebuchets, I think should get a little buff so that they can take out keeps faster. But overall, I think it is a great change though, and I think it is going to improve the game. But I do think that keeps are still going to be used, and I think keeps are still strong. I don't think they're going to be as useless. I know I've seen some people say they think they're going to be useless. No one's going to make keeps anymore, and I don't think that's the case. I think keeps are still going to play a critical role. But it'll be easier to kill undefended keeps compared to now. And then Bombard move speed was increased from 0.62 to 0.75. They're saying overall we're seeing a lot of ram play because of their low cost and ease of use. This change is targeted at helping the Bombard, which has to pack and unpack to get into the action faster. I really don't think this matters much for the Bombard. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think this is really going to change how people view Bombards. Villagers no longer use bow weapons to attack boars. They will always use a spear. This is actually a nice quality of life change. Right now, if you go for a boar or pre-patch, I keep saying right now, but the patch is out. It's already out and playable. But pre-patch, you needed to make sure your villagers were on top of the boar before attacking it. Otherwise, some would shoot bows and some may not, and it could lead to losing more villagers than you should. This is definitely a very good quality of life change. It's not like the biggest deal, but it is going to be nicer, especially for probably lower level players. Selecting an active trader now displays the amount of gold that will be earned. Fix the bug where previously idle units will move to the position of an enemy when they defeated. I didn't know that was a thing. It's kind of funny some of the bugs they fixed. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And then fix an issue where ranged siege units would fail to reposition when too close to an obstruction, such as a stone wall. If their target was otherwise within their range, ranged units will now pack up and reposition to a better angled shot or find another target. Oh, I see what this is. Oh, this is actually a really nice change. I read this earlier, and I didn't really fully understand it till just now. So if I'm understanding this correctly, this means if you like target a stone wall and your bombard's like right there, it'll auto move back and then fire now, rather than just stay there being stuck and not doing anything. So that's actually really, really nice. That's actually a really nice quality of life change, because that was very annoying. When that happened, when you'd be like, hey, attack this stone wall, but it didn't have an angle, and then the bombards would stay there, not move, until you redirected it manually. So this is actually a really good change that I didn't actually realize till now. So overall, I mean, the changes they made this patch were really good in my opinion. I think it was a lot of really good changes, and they've made some really good quality of life changes. And now we'll go over the civilization specific changes. Fresh foodstuffs technology was reduced from 125 gold to 75 gold. A little buff to Abbasid. I don't think Abbasid really needed it, but it's a buff to them regardless. It does allow Abbasid to get a second TC a little bit quicker because they don't need to mine gold as much to get that 75 or to get that 125 gold. So it's a solid 50 gold savings. And now for China. So we're talking about keep nerfs. Well, this will be an interesting one. So the Great Wall Landmark. The Great Wall Landmark damage reduced from 15 to 13. Um, I mean, this still outranges keeps, or bombards. So bombards are still going to melt to the Great Wall Gatehouse. So this doesn't really change anything. I don't know why they didn't reduce the range of it a little bit, but that is what it is. Keeps. For China, this is for China only. Damage reduced from 50 to 25, and the attack speeds increased from 3.12 to 1.37. Overall, I think this actually is a buff to China Keeps because China Keeps now shoot really fast. Again, I was watching Beastie test this change for the China, and it was just like a machine gun. It never stopped firing. Because right pre-patch, there was a little pause. It would fire, it would pause for a little, the 3.12, then it would shoot again. Yes, it still does 3 attacks. So now it just shoots like a machine gun. It does not stop. It just goes bang, 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 bang. And it does not stop until there's no units in the field. So it's overall, I think it's actually a buff. I don't think it was a nerf. Now they don't 2-shot knights anymore. They used to 2-shot knights, but it still absolutely destroys knights and stuff still. So while it doesn't 2-shot them, it just shoots so fast it doesn't matter. So I'm not sure why they did this. I mean, whatever, but it feels like a buff from watching it and testing. And then Ancient Technology Gather bonus reduced from 5% to 4%. Is that the one where for every dynasty upgrade you have or something you get extra bonus? I actually don't know what this is. It's a gathering bonus, but it's now 4% instead of 5. Didn't know this was a problem, or I didn't know that was a thing that needed to be nerfed. But Dome of Faith Landmark no longer has a 50% production speed penalty. Gives a discount of minus 50 gold instead of minus 65. We wanted to give the Dome of Faith more tempo with faster train time on scholars. Additionally, it generates increased resources per minute while constant training. This is balanced by the fact that the building generally has more idle time than other production buildings, as it's creating a more specialized unit. I mean, that's fine. I'm a Dome of Faith enjoyer, so it's just objectively a better mosque? Yeah, I believe so. The funny thing is, and this just shows my ignorance sometimes in some things in this game, I had no idea that this landmark gave a 50% production speed penalty. I didn't realize it was slower to produce a scholar than in a mosque. So I learned something new today. House of Learning Landmark. Hardy rations carry capacity increased from 5 to 10. Hardy rations research time reduced from 5 to 345. Tranquil venue technology healing increased from 2 to 4 seconds. Gonna be honest, I don't know what any of these upgrades are because I don't go to the House of Learning because Compound of the Defender is better in every way in my opinion. But so whatever these upgrades are, they got buffed. The for Malians, the Griat Bear landmark, which by the way, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Imperial Age landmark that you pay gold to get a buff on something. It's like I don't remember if it's like plus 100% damage for 30 seconds or something. So the Siege Festival no longer affects Spring Elves, Mangonels, or Culverins. And the Siege Festival help time is corrected to reach 60 seconds. Okay, so it lasts 60 seconds, not 30 seconds. I mean, to be fair, I don't think anyone ever used this for Spring Elves, Mangonels, or Culverins. But then again, no one ever goes this landmark anyway. So really, it's just kind of probably not going to be used. And then the Musafati Warriors' health was increased from 5 for each age. 85 to 90, 105 to 110, 130 to 135. And now Ottomans. Ottomans got a slight nerf and a buff. So the Spahi train speed increased from 24 to 28 seconds. I think that's fine. Because I think previously they were training the same speed as before. So I think this is a fine nerf to Spahi because they are really good. Spahi are a super good unit right now. So I think it's fine. But then they got a buff for Anatolian Hills technology. Mining speed bonus increased from 10% to 15%. For those who don't know, the Anatolian Hills technology is the sheep one. So you get 8 sheep. I think it's 8 sheep. And then you get a gold gathering mining speed bonus. I think it's just gold. Maybe it affects stone too. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's now 15% instead of 10. I'm a big fan of this one anyway. Like even without this buff, I'm a huge fan of that free sheep. It's really, really nice. I think it's kind of underutilized, or people prefer the meta, and I personally am a much bigger fan of this personally. I'd rather spend the gold to make a meta than not have this a lot of the time. And then for Rus, the Kremlin landmark, the Levy militia lifetime reduced from 80 to 65 seconds, and then the automatic torch scaling by age removed. So if I'm understanding this correctly, militia will still get the other upgrades like more attack, more health, but they don't get increased torch scaling. I'm not entirely sure, but that's my understanding of it. And in general, it's a good nerf. It might even be a good enough nerf to where the Kremlin is in a good spot and maybe the Golden Gate will be used again. Hey, what's up, Magic? Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. We're just going over the patch notes right now, and then yeah. Goodbye, Semifer. All right, and then they fixed a bug where hunting cabins built where there are no trees generate negative gold. I did actually know this was a bug, but I don't know if I ever had it used on me or not. And then the Boyer's Fortitude Technology health bonus reduced from plus 30 to plus 25. I can't believe Golden Gate is never used. It still seems so good. I don't think that's on my side, Sass. I'm pretty sure that's just you. Unless chat's hearing me echo, which I would question why you haven't been asking me for the past, haven't told me. So in general, to answer your question of why the Golden Gate is never used, so here's the thing with landmarks, and this is one of the downsides / good sides, right? You have a choice. One landmark can be really good, but if the other landmark is better, even by just a little bit, the players are going to choose that landmark, even though the other landmark is good too. Like Golden Gate is not a bad landmark. It's still one of the best landmarks in the game, but the Kremlin is just better. So that's why you see people go Kremlin. Not because Golden Gate's bad, but because Kremlin is just better. And that's kind of the thing that I think can be a little confusing for some players is they'll think, wow, does that other landmark suck? No, the Golden Gate does not suck. It's just the Kremlin is a lot better, or is better. Now with this change, I don't know if maybe we'll see Golden Gate come back a little bit. I'm not sure how big of an impact the 15-second lifespan will be. Like hopefully it's pretty noticeable. I assume it will be. So it'll be interesting to see. So maybe we'll see a comeback with the Golden Gate. Maybe we'll see both landmarks chosen, which is the ideal situation or scenario where both landmarks are available or viable. That's the word I'm looking for. And then along with that, Boyer's Fortitude health bonus reduced from plus 30 to plus 25. For those who don't know, this is the cavalry increase for Rus, where it provides plus 30 health for all cavalry. Now it's plus 25. It's a slight nerf. Rus did probably need some nerf, or not probably. They did need some nerfs. I'm not sure how Rus would be without the Kremlin, without the militia, but in general, I think this is a good toning. Maybe Rus won't be the #1 civ anymore, or maybe they still are. Won't know without seeing it in action. So we'll see how this plays out. And then ongoing, they're aware of that the game switches audio device. Okay, I don't care about that. Voice chat reporting, and then what's on the horizon. So they're going to have a late summer patch with additional minor. So they're going to continue supporting Season 5 with additional minor patches like this one. We are currently eyeing our next minor patch to align in late summer for lighting up seasonal events, more balanced tuning, and additional bug fixes. So my guess is, does that mean there's going to be a patch next month or in September? Because both are technically summer. Whatever that is, who knows? Either way, these are that is on the horizon. And then World Gaia Appreciation Event.